Chapters 18 through 20 relate crises arising in the lives of two of Abraham's family members, his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot. Lot's life of compromise and worldly pursuit stands in stark contrast to the life of faith demonstrated by his uncle. In response to Abraham's fervent prayers, God spares Lot while destroying his hometown for its wickedness and perversion. And yet, even a man of faith like Abraham can stumble when he takes his eyes off God. On a trip to Gerar, Abraham lies about his beautiful wife Sarah, calling her his sister, in order to save his kin from King Abimelech. The climax of more than 20 faith-stretching years for Abraham and Sarah comes in the birth of Isaac, their miracle son and heir. But soon, Abraham's faith is tested again as God calls upon him to sacrifice their treasured son upon an altar. Abraham obeys, showing that the experiences of the past 2 decades have not been in vain. For his faithfulness to the point of death, God rewards Abraham with further assurances of blessing. In the closing years of Abraham's life, a time saddened by Sarah's death, there remains one important detail: finding a suitable bride for Isaac. Genesis 25 and 26, Isaac's family and works. The story of Isaac continues, focusing on his family and work. Though Abraham has died, God's promises to him live on in the persons of his son Isaac and his twin grandsons Esau and Jacob. Sin too lives on, as demonstrated by Jacob's theft of his brother's birthright and by Isaac's imitation of his father's deceptions. Yet, despite human failings, God's covenant remains sure, as testified in his word to Isaac in chapter 26, verse 3, saying, "I will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham." Genesis chapter 27 through 31, Jacob's dream and flight. The conflict that began in their mother's womb carries over into the adult lives of Esau and Jacob. After following Rebekah's plan to trick Isaac into giving him the patriarchal blessing, Jacob flees to Haran for safety. En route, he receives assurance from God in a dream that he is indeed the heir to the covenant promises. After 20 years in Haran, learning painful lessons from his uncle Laban, Jacob returns to Canaan with his livestock, servants, and family. Having survived the pursuit of his jealous uncle Laban, Jacob now faces an even greater danger from his estranged brother Esau. After sending his family across the Jabbok River, Jacob wrestles with the angel of God until daybreak. God assures Jacob of his continued presence and leaves Jacob with reminder of the encounter, a new name, Israel, mean one who fights with God. Once reconciled to God, Jacob is ready to be reconciled to Esau and to return to Canaan as the vital link in God's continuing promises. Day 13. Genesis 37 through 40. Joseph's slavery in Egypt. 37. Joseph's dream and brothers' rejection. Joseph had dreams, and he was hated, rejected by his brothers, cast into pit, and carried away by Gentiles. 38. Judah and Tamar. Shame of Judah and his sons. 39. Joseph and Potiphar's wife. Joseph was tested in Egypt in the house of Potiphar. 40. Joseph with the cupbearer and the baker. Joseph in prison in Egypt. He interpreted the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker. Joseph's story in Egypt teaches that loyalty to God may bring believers into serious circumstances, but the almighty grace of God will enable them to overcome the enemy's attacks.